In this chapter, we're going to talk about light, shade, and lens flares. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, I am on a blank screen. Previously in this title, I have brought things in from Bridge. I love Bridge, great program. I have opened them already and then told you where they are in the exercise folder. There is another way that you probably know that you can drag them in. Now, I work on multiple monitors, and it's even easier than Bridge just to drag it in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over. I'm going to sneak off this side of my screen here. And I'm going to grab and open up the image that we need to work with. Just drag it in. Very easy way to do that. And I'm going to double click the hand tool to get it up to size. So that's easy. It's very straightforward. Most people know that. But what if you want to work on another document? And this is something that my students asked me not too long ago. They say, Andy, I bring another document in and let go, but what it does is it puts it into a layer. Now, that's a cool thing. I like being able to do that, but I don't want it in another layer. I want it as a separate document. So let me escape out of here. How do you do that? Is it like a shortcut key? Well, it's actually easier than that. Drag it over, but before you let go up here on the tab line, and boom, it becomes a separate document. So if you want it as a layer, that's beautiful. If you want it as a separate document, that's easy too. Let's look at our nice high-key girl looking at a flower. We're going to talk about lighting effects in terms of a filter. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go up to the word filter on the pull-down menu and go down to render and select lighting effects. Now we've got lens flare and lighting effects. Those are the two we're going to kind of concentrate on. And I'm going to show you some manual ways to do some of the stuff that's really kind of impressive. Let's go ahead and go into lighting effects. And we're off and running. Now you'll notice the dialog box that we have fills the screen. We have by default this right here, that is a spotlight. Now you can change that right here to a point or an infinite source. Infinite's kind of interesting. We come over here, we click on it right there, and we can move the source. Now, see, that's a little bit too intense. So you come over here, and you come over until you can see that. Just kind of move over till you see that. And you click, and you kind of drag on it. And you can change that like that. And we have this infinite light source that we can use. That's kind of an interesting one, actually. Not too bad. Let's go back to point. That's the one I want. Now, you can add more if you want more than one. We want two on this one by clicking these buttons up here. Now, let me mention one other thing that's annoying to me, but there's nothing I can do about it. See the word move following me around? If I come over somewhere, it sticks and it just kind of stays there. Now, I assume that's something that will eventually be fixed, but I actually can't wait. So just kind of ignore that. That's going to go away, I'm sure, someday. Now, if we come over here again, we can go in here and click on that and change the intensity. Maybe move it, if you will. So I want a light source maybe over those red roses. I assume they're red roses. I hope they are. And then I want another one, too. Now, to get another one, I come up here. That's a new spotlight. Now, here's the point right here. And I click, and there's a second one. So I can move this one, say, right about here, and that's what I call a glow. So let's kind of reduce that down a little bit to maybe something like that. Okay, now, before we click and say we like it, you do have a preview option up here, so you can see the difference between the two. Over here, you've got a color option for intensity. You have a colorize option here if you want to colorize for exposure. You can gloss it up a little bit, and that's the one we have selected, of course. You can make it more metallic, and we also have something called ambience. And if we click this, or ambiance, it will change altogether the outside around the light. We can also create something that's kind of interesting. I wouldn't use it in this image, called a texture. And if we go into texture, we can use one of our color channels, RGBs, to change the texture. So if we go and say red, let me just show you this, and come over here and change the height, we're creating, well, I don't know, it's kind of interesting, but it's not what I want. So let's go ahead and take that back to none. Now down here, and there's that little move thing again, down here are the lights we're using. You can turn them on or off just like layers. You can click the delete button if you don't want one, and if we add another one, it will appear down here. Let's say we think we like this. Let's go ahead and click OK up here. Changes the image quite a bit. Now, if we go here, we can go into our marvelous undos. And there's the original, and here's the one with just 2 light sources in lighting's effect. It really changes how the image looks. It gives it a softer appearance. So lighting effects is something, we're not done with it. Lighting effects is something that you can use to really enhance an image, especially things like portraits. So let's just go ahead and close and don't save. There you go.